Hey, this is Vema, your awesome realtor and land developer, and today I'm going to talk about everything that I know about Project Connect. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of what Project Connect is, when is it going to be coming, how much is it going to cost the city, and where exactly is it going to be put in the Austin area. So Project Connect is the first regional transit line for the Austin area. As Austin has started to have a lot more of a traffic issue over the years, the Project Connect is being formed in order to kind of alleviate those problems. And it not only includes the transit lines, but it's also going to include a lot more buses and a lot more like transportation in general for the area. And it was passed last year, or to be more clear, it's being funded through Prop A that was passed last year. So you're probably asking, when is this going to be coming to Austin? So as far as I know, they're expecting construction to start in 2024. And there's 6 lines that are being built, but by 2030, blue and orange are expected to be completed by those times. So Project Connect is a $7.1 billion cost. So you're probably wondering, how are we going to pay for this? Well, 40 to 45% of it will be through the federal government. A small percentage will be through Capital Metro's revenue, and the rest will be passed over to the property taxpayers. And based off what I've found so far, for the valuation of $100 on your house, typically an Austin homeowner pays $2.16. And after this bill is passed, Prop A is passed, the taxes are going to increase by 8.75 cents for every $100, which is potentially a 4% increase in your property taxes. And that's how all of this is going to get paid. So now I'm going to show you where all the metro and rail lines are coming in the Austin area. So let me share my screen and we can walk through it.
So here's a map of the Project Connect and all the bus and rail lines that are coming in. And as you can see, there's a lot that's going to be added, and all the purple lines and the gold lines are like the additional bus lines, or rapid buses, what they're calling them. And then the other lines, the red, the green, are the commuter lines, and the orange and the purple, or no, orange, sorry, orange and the blue are the new rail lines that are being added. And it's kind of hard to kind of get a visual of everything, so I'm going to try to break it down line by line and talk to you kind of like the purpose behind each of those lines. So let's start with the blue line. And the purpose of the blue line is really to have from the Austin airport to get to downtown. That's what that's the initial purpose of this. And as you can see, there's additional lines that are going to be added. So this section is more of potential future, so none of these are guaranteed currently. But the bottom section from Austin all the way to downtown will be. So it's going to go from Austin, it's going to hit the Riverside, and in this purple, it's going to mean it's going to be able to connect to other bus lines. And it's going to make its way all the way to downtown. And then as mentioned before, it's going to keep going on further eventually. We're not exactly sure where those places are going to be yet, but some of the places is like the UT campus, kind of the West Mall area, to the Dell Seton Hospital, and supposedly it's supposed to end near North Lamar and like 183 area. That's where it's eventually going to end. And there's future expansions to go even further, but that's still potentials. But these are an idea of what the blue line is and where the general locations are going to be. Now let's switch over to the orange line. Now the orange line, there's some potential up here, but we're not going to show those because those are not in the initial design plans. So it's going to end, move it down. It's going to end kind of where the blue line ends, or starts where the blue line ends, and make its way down. And it's going to start kind of in the North Lamar International District and go down to Crestview, and then hit like the Triangle area and Hyde Park. And this line, the purpose of this line is to really connect North and South Austin together. and it's going to go through downtown to the auditorium, to like SoCo area, which is a very popular area in South Austin, and just make it all the way down, until it hits Slaughter, And I believe this road is it's Congress Avenue. So it's going down the Congress Avenue all the way down until it hits Slaughter. And so I think, though, for right now, anything after Stastny is going to be additional expansion, even though this picture, it doesn't show that. I believe everything after Stastny it's not in the initial plan. So it's just a Stastny, and Stastny going from Stastny all the way back up until it goes into more North Austin and hits North Lamar and 183. So it's a way to connect North and South Austin, and that's kind of the purpose of that line. Now, I mentioned before, there's 2 other commuter lines that are coming, and the red line already exists, and so they're just spending more money. I think they're spending about $25 million in improvements. And some of the new areas that are really being added to this section is they're going to add a connection to the domain, which is nice, and they're also going to be adding I think it's called McCalla, this place right here, McCalla, which is where the new soccer stadium is going to be for our first professional team in the Austin area. So this is the red line, and it goes all the way up to Leander, and it's probably the longest line of all the lines that we have. And yeah, I think that's everything there is on the red line that you need to really know. And let's go down to the last major line, which is the green line. And the green line is another commuter line. This will be a brand new line, and it's going to start in downtown. It's pretty much going east, and it's crazy. It's going east all the way up to Manor and Elgin. Now, the connection I think the initial plan stops at Colony Park, and then eventually it will go down all the way to Manor and Elgin. And this line plans to have further expansion, as I mentioned before, but I think this is a good line to really connect the east side of Austin, and so that's kind of the purpose of that line. And to kind of bring it full circle, I'm going to show you kind of the bus lines. So all the bus lines are the purple lines. And this is just a way for wherever the rail lines that haven't really been added, it's a way to connect them together. And some of the highlights is from South Austin perspective, you'll connect Oak Hill all the way to downtown, and it's going to connect Menchaca Road, and all Lamar is going to have a connection. And the great thing about a lot of these bus lines is all these bus lines are being connected to the major rails. So this is just going to make it much more easier from a public transportation standpoint. And then also a nice neighborhood is Goodnight Ranch. So the very end of it is going to make it all the way down into kind of like the downtown area as well. As we go kind of more central downtown, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You can see here, there's just a lot more connection. And this section right here, I haven't really talked about it much, is where they're going to have underground tunnels. So kind of looking right here. And they're spending a lot of money on it. And I think it's $2 billion in that, just for that one section. And this is the area where all the lines really connect together, and from here it's going to be the central hub. And this is really going to help reduce traffic in the downtown area, and so I think this is going to be really beneficial. And then lastly, kind of going up to the North Austin area, eventually this is going to connect a lot of different areas like Elgin and Manor, and Leander's already connected, but it's going to give more options for stops on the red line to connect to other rapid bus lines. And so this should be really beneficial to the Austin area as more ways to reduce traffic. And so it will take a while to come here, but we're glad it is. So I'm going to switch back and we'll talk more about a few other things.
So this is just a brief overview of where all the light rail lines and bus lines and trail lines are going to be in the Austin area. Now, this should help reduce our traffic problem, but it isn't going to be cheap. But I think in general, overall, it'll be worth it in the long run. Now, in regards to property values, I think having houses or developments near light rail lines are going to increase their value. I'm not sure how much, but I think it will in general, just because of the convenience it is to public transportation. And so I think that's going to have a large value, but I'm not exactly sure what value that might be. So I'm really glad that we're doing this. I know for a major city, we're like decades behind many other cities, but I think in general, this is a really good thing. So this is Vema signing out. Please like and subscribe, as I'm going to have more videos coming to you soon.